guys, inside of this camera bag right here, man, is potentially the, at least for me, the ultimate medium format portrait photography kit. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another King James video, man. And in today's video, we just got back from a quick little portrait session with a really good friend of mine, probably one of my best friends, Gabriel, who's also an often client of mine. And he wanted to do kind of a lifestyle shoot, and we went out today and did exactly that during golden hour. I wanted to refocus this video on the Pentax 6.7, the camera that I use on a consistent basis nowadays. Lens one. Alright guys, so this right here is my main portrait photography camera. It's a Pentax 6.7. And for those of you guys who shoot film and who have been avid followers of this channel, this is nothing new to you guys. You guys already know I shoot a lot with this camera. I pretty much have decided that this was gonna be the camera that I shot most of my portraits with. Whether that be engagements, whether that be family portraits, all of that jazz, you know. I figured that this is gonna be it right here, my Pentax 6.7. Now, I'm not completely going just film only. I'm gonna be doing some digital work still, but for the most part, the Sony that I'm recording on is usually what I would shoot everything on. It's full frame and whatnot, but the medium format 6.7, man, the negatives that come out of this, especially when combined with the two lenses we're going to be talking about here, just create some of the most beautiful and magical looking photographs. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the medium format quality to it, but I'm telling you guys, this has to be the ultimate portrait setup. So let me give you guys a quick little rundown about the gear that I'm using. So obviously we have here the Pentax 6.7. This is the first version, the MLU, mirror lockup, which means if you hit this little switch here, well, it has to be kind of cocked back if there's no film in here. Anyways, that mirror will be locked up into the top. I also purchased a third-party right-handed grip that makes shooting the 6.7 very comfortable. It's a very big camera, and one of the complaints that a lot of people have is that there's no real kind of grip. This is what it would look like without it. But with that right-hand grip, it makes it totally usable, so I would recommend that to anybody out there. And I still shoot this camera strapless, so there's no strap on it. I'm pretty much going to be hand-holding the camera most of the time. So that is the Pentax 6.7 right here. If you guys want to see my review on it, I will leave links in the description below. And as for the lenses, I narrowed it down to really two different kind of focal lengths. So generally, when I do shoot portraits, my favorite focal length of all time is 35mm. Personally, I feel like 35mm is like the best balance between a nice wide angle lens and a kind of more normal focal length, like 50mm. But with the 6.7, the 35mm equivalent is a 75mm on the 6.7, if that makes any sense. There's a conversion there. Now with that said, I've tried out the 75mm, but it still felt a little bit too cropped, and it might just be because we are shooting a larger negative and it looks a lot bigger in the camera here. But I wanted to get something a little bit more wider than the 35, and so I opted for this guy right here. And this one, folks, is the trusty Pentax 6.7 55mm f4. Now the 55mm f4 lens, as you guys can see, it's not that big. Actually, it's a really large lens, but in terms of like medium format lens kind of, you know, builds, it's not that big at all. The 55mm is going to be similar to what a 28mm is on full frame equivalents. Now 28mm being more wide than 35, you guys might be wondering, you know, how is that going to affect your portraits? Personally, I like it. I like shooting with a 28mm focal length. Even if it's wide angle, I can still get a little bit closer. There's not too much distortion, and with 28, it makes it really good for those environmental portraits and whatnot, which is huge when you're doing something like engagement photography or something like family portraits. I needed a wide angle lens, and I wanted to keep our lens selection very, very minimal because the 6.7 is already a big camera. I don't want to carry around too much gear. So apart from the 55mm lens, I figured the perfect lens that would fit with it is the dream lens of the Pentax 6.7 system. And that lens, folks, is the Pentax 105 2.4. And man, when I say this is one of the best lenses I've ever shot, it's not only one of the sharpest, but it gives this insane kind of depth of field that makes your subjects look like they're floating in a cloud or whatnot. So There's obviously going to be some tension between this lens and the 90mm 2.8 for those 6-7 shooters out there, but I personally prefer the 105 just a little bit more. It has a 2.4 max aperture, so you're gonna get some really nice shallow depth of field. And with that said, also I want to bring back the 55. The 55 has a max f4 aperture, which isn't super wide, but for it being wide angle, I'm not really going for too much of a shallow depth of field anyway. This is to capture more of the environment anyway, so you know, this is going to be more of the depth of field kind of lens when I'm going for that look. But with these two lenses, I feel like it can pretty much cover all of my bases in terms of the type of photography that I do. I don't really feel like I need a specialty lens. I think this wide angle right here and also the 105, which is like a 55mm equivalent, is perfect for, you know, the different types of photography that I do. And I really can't be happier, man. I do think this is really one of the best kits when it comes to the Pentax 6.7 system. So if anybody out there shoots with the Pentax 6.7, man, I am curious to know what your kit consists of. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think down below on your medium format system or your Pentax 6.7 kit. All right, so we're switching over to the 105 2.4. First couple images were focused on kind of getting scene environments and whatnot, showing off the outfit as well. We're gonna move in a little bit now as the sun goes down to more of those kind of beauty shots, the smaller details. So the 105, switching over from the 55 here. Same kind of idea, using golden hour to our advantage. Most of these are going to be backlit with exposure, you know, overexposed by maybe a stop or so. But this lens right here, guys, if you guys have never shot with the 105 before, or if you've never shot with like the 6.7 in general, man, this is the lens to go for. This one in the 90mm 2.8, some of the best lenses, but personally I prefer the 105. Has a much more dreamy look.
Without those Dodgers, huh? Okay.
Alright you guys, so I don't actually have any of the photographs from this particular shoot, partly because I'm still getting that film developed and I still have to scan it in, so stay tuned for that. We will be doing a full video wrapping up this entire shoot here, but if you guys enjoyed this one, man, drop a like down below and hit that subscribe button, and also follow me over on Instagram for more details about our 100K giveaway for our YouTube channel, man. So we're almost there, you guys, and really quick, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of the support that you guys have been showing these last couple of years, man. But that's gonna wrap it up, you guys. Here we go, let's get to 100K. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. As always, Minolta gang.